And now, another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
In a moment, Moonlight Sail by William N. Robson.
In the early days of our country, before the Revolutionary War, England established what were called royal courts in each of the American colonies. These courts set the laws for the colonists and made sure they were observed. But in 1640, the colonies defied the royal courts by holding what was probably the first election in America. On April 11th of that year, at an election held in Wethersfield, Connecticut, Matthew Mitchell was named recorder. The King's Court at Hartford refused to recognize the election and levied fines on both the town of Wethersfield and Matthew Mitchell, the recorder. Both refused to pay the fines. The American people, by recognizing the importance of free elections, had added another page to your political history.
The ancient Romans called the Mediterranean Mare Nostrum, R.C. For the past several years, I've made it my sea, up to a point. At least there isn't a port between Gibraltar and the Suez Canal I haven't been in and out of, without the knowledge of the harbor master. I was once a gob in the U.S. Navy, and the craft I skipper was once a PT boat in the U.S. Navy. Now, we can both be had, for a price.
If the price is right.
That's Marius, my first mate and crew. I signed him on one night in a dive in Marseille after I'd come between him and a crazy Moroccan who wanted to give him a facelift with the broken end of a wine bottle. Marius may have a rather carefree code of ethics, but I know I can count on his loyalty, so long as I pay him regularly. There are the bells up on the Souquet, the old section of Cannes. The sun is dipping toward the mountains of the Estoril, and another day is drawing to a close on the glamorous and expensive French Riviera, where the pickings have been precariously lean for the cruiser Mockingbird and its men.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Ah, but who knows? Maybe this is our pigeon.
May I come aboard?
Sure. What can I do for you?
It is said that your boat is for hire.
That's right.
And are you free for this evening?
Yes, I am.
Good. Then I shall engage you.
For what?
Oh, just a boat ride, a moonlight sail.
Where?
Oh, just out and back.
Why?
Monsieur, am I engaging you, or are you engaging me?
I like to know what I'm getting into, that's all.
Oh, it is merely, as I say, monsieur, a moonlight sail. A young lady whose capitulation is as yet not complete.
Oh, I see. Well, I'm not sure the Mockingbird is very well rigged for your purpose.
She looks adequate.
Okay. What time?
Say 8 o'clock. You know the Villa Mouette on Cap Antibes?
The big place out by Eden Rock that rich American dame leased for the summer?
C'est ça.
I'll be there.
Oh, one thing more, monsieur.
Yes?
How much?
How long is it going to take you?
Oh, who knows? 2 hours, 3 hours. One cannot put a time limit on these matters.
Yeah, I know. Say 10,000 francs for the evening.
Agreed, monsieur. At 8 o'clock, then?
At 8 o'clock.
Steve, I do not like it.
But, my friend, a buck is a buck. Or, as we say in France, 400 francs is 400 francs. Make fast that bow line, Marius.
I have it, mon capitaine.
Well, monsieur le capitaine, you're right on time.
Part of our service, monsieur. Say, you never told me your name.
Oh, forgive me. It is Effroyer, Jacques Effroyer. And this is Mademoiselle Adele.
Well, glad to have you aboard, Miss Adele.
Thank you, Captain.
Any special place you wanted to go, Monsieur Effroyer?
Yes. Head her straight south.
South?
Yes. To Africa.
I was beginning to dislike this puny little Frenchman with the shifty eyes, but I didn't give him any argument. He was paying for the evening, and if he wanted to ride toward Africa, I'd head south for a little while. The girl sat huddled on one side of the foredeck, her back turned to the Frenchman, and he leaned against the rail, watching her, tense, like a black cat ready to pounce. Then, for a moment, he averted his gaze as he turned into the wind to light a cigarette. Adele leaped to her feet, ran astern, and clambered into the wheelhouse.
Captain, where are you taking me? Where's Chuck? Is he all right?
Chuck? Who's Chuck?
My fiancé. Is he badly hurt?
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about, lady.
Adele, you must not let yourself get so upset.
But I've got to know, and you won't tell me
You will
anything.
know everything in good time. And anyway, the Capitaine knows nothing. Now, come along with me.
But this is...
I said come with me. We are nearing our destination.
With a yank that nearly pulled her arm from its socket, he hauled Adele out of the wheelhouse and backed forward. Marius looked at me and shrugged.
C'est la vie. Et ce n'est pas l'amour. You know what I think, Steve?
Not until you tell me.
This fellow is not in love with this girl.
No.
Yes.
Well, what are you going to do?
Yes, but who is this Chuck who is so badly hurt? And what is this destination this fellow said we were approaching?
Who knows? It's his boat ride. He paid for it.
Yes, but Steve, I'd like to...
No! Captain, help me!
Steve, look, he's pushing her overboard.
No!
I made it to the foredeck just in time to grab the struggling girl before she went over the side. She was too shaken to speak, but the Frenchman wasn't tongue-tied.
Oh, thank you, Captain. Thank you. She was trying to throw herself overboard. I struggled to prevent her, but she was too strong for me. If it had not been for you...
Save it. I saw how it happened.
Oh,
Get aft to the wheelhouse. I want you where I can keep my eye on you. Both of you.
Thank you, Captain. He was trying to push me overboard.
I know. Marius,
Oui, mon capitaine.
swing her around. We're going in.
Tout de suite, mon capitaine.
All ahead, flank.
All ahead, flank.
The sooner I drop this cargo, the happier I'll be. Nobody said anything for the next few minutes. The girl was too shaken to talk, and the Frenchman was figuring his next move. Marius held the wheel, driving the Mockingbird across the moon-drenched water at top speed. And I stood by to prevent further mayhem.
Captain, I feel I owe you an explanation.
You don't owe me anything but 10,000 francs for the evening's outing.
Oh, that. Here you are.
Thank you.
Nevertheless, I feel I must explain. You see, my wife...
Your wife? What kind of a story is
Now,
that?
Adele, my dear.
And I am not your dear. Captain, I hardly know this man. He's a friend of Mrs. Dawson, my fiancé's mother. Mrs. Dawson received word this evening that Chuck had been hurt skin diving over on St. Margaret Island, and he was asking for me. Well, this man was a guest for dinner. He offered to get a boat and take me to Chuck, but he tried to drown me. He tried to push me overboard. You saw it yourself, Captain.
Now, look, I don't want to get mixed up in this. You've had your ride, and now the party's over. I'll take the wheel, Marius.
Oui, mon capitaine.
Stand by to make fast the bow, painter.
Oui, mon capitaine. Our painter fast, mon capitaine.
Very well. You first, Monsieur Foyer.
Jacques, I was beginning to worry.
Who's that?
Mrs. Dawson, my fiancé's mother.
Did everything go... Adele, what are you doing here?
Didn't you expect to see me come back?
Well, yes. I mean, no. I thought you'd be with Chuck.
We never went near the island. Your friend, Monsieur Foyer, tried to drown me.
Madame
Oh,
Dawson.
I'm sure you must be mistaken, my dear. Well, anyway, I have good news. They phoned me from the island. Chuck is perfectly all right, and they're bringing him home.
Oh, thank God. When will he get here?
Well, later. Maybe not until morning. So come along, my dear. You look terribly tired.
Oh, I am.
And then you go straight away to bed. I'll call you the moment Chuck gets home.
You see, Captain, it is necessary to humor her fantasies. Otherwise, she becomes quite violent.
Yeah. Cast off, Marius. Let's get out of this joint. We headed back to Cannes, taking a bearing on the white frosted walls of the Palm Beach Casino. But I couldn't get that girl out of my mind. She didn't sound crazy. She didn't act crazy. And there was no doubt about it, the Frenchman had been pushing her over the side. And the woman, Mrs. Dawson, whoever she was, seemed not only surprised, but furious to see the girl. I knew it was none of my business, but that's the way I am.
Back to Captain Keith.
We crept into a quiet cove a quarter-mile east of the villa, and I left Marius at anchor watch and made my way back to the house along the silent, moon-dappled road. It was a big villa, surrounded by formal gardens, a rambling Mediterranean house dominated by a round watchtower which looked out to sea. There were no lights on the landward side, so I made my way through the shadows toward the water, and soon heard the low buzz of voices. There they were, Mrs. Dawson and Jacques standing on the terrace which faced the sea.
You were highly recommended.
There I was, Not
You said
6
you knew
feet
your
away
business,
from them,
and heaven knows
hidden
I'm
behind an
paying
acacia
you enough.
bush.
All that you say is true, madame.
Well, then perhaps you can explain your failure.
All would have gone well had it not been for that American boat captain.
Oh, excuses.
What could I do? He heard her scream.
You shouldn't have permitted her to scream.
Madame Dawson, have you ever killed anyone?
Of course not.
Then you are in no position to criticize me.
That girl must not marry my son.
I understand that.
Tonight. You said you'd do it tonight.
I tried, madame.
Well, there is still time. Chuck's over in Monte Carlo at the casino. The way that boy loves roulette, he won't be home until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. You still have time.
But here in the villa, this is a different matter than a drowning at sea.
You're a most uninventive assassin, Monsieur.
Madame?
Look, her bedroom in the tower. You see that balcony up there?
Yes?
That's her room, the only one in the tower that's occupied. And look beneath the balcony. A sheer drop of nearly 100 feet to the rocks below. In the morning, her body will be found on the rocks. An unfortunate accident.
I see, madame. And may I say one thing?
Yes, go ahead.
You should be in my line of work. You would do well at it.
I sneaked away on this high note of compliment and returned silently to the road. As I ran back to the Mockingbird, I worked out a rough plan for the rescue of the fair maiden from her dungeon tower. The light in the tower room was still on. Marius eased the Mockingbird toward the base of the tower until its prow crunched into the sand between a couple of rocks.
You are going to climb that, Steve?
It doesn't look too bad, Marius. Up that bank to the terrace, then up those vines if they're strong enough, and onto the roof. After all, that tower was never designed to repel invaders. It was built to look old and quaint, and... You see those stones sticking out of the stucco every now and again?
Yes.
They look close enough to be useful as a ladder. All right, give me the coil of rope.
Here you are.
Now, you know what you have to do down here.
I know.
Uh-oh, the light just went out. I got to get moving.
Bon chance, Steve.
Yeah, thanks. The first part of the climb was a cinch. And the vines were old and sturdy, but the whimsical architect who embedded those picturesque stones in the tower had never intended them to serve as a ladder. A couple of times I was sure that they would find my body along with Adele's on the rocks in the morning. But I finally made the balcony, scratched, bleeding, and scared. But not half as scared as Adele.
Who's there? Who is it?
Steve.
What are you doing?
Shh, don't talk. Just listen. We haven't got much time. Listen to me. Chuck is all right.
Oh, thank God.
He isn't hurt. He's at the casino at Monte Carlo right now.
Oh, I don't know.
You were right about the Frenchman. He tried to drown you. In just a minute, he'll try to push you off the balcony.
But why?
Mama doesn't want any little girls playing around her little boy. We've got to get you out of here, and there's only one way, over the balcony. Come on.
Oh, but I can't.
There's no time to get prettied up. Just come as you are. Come on. She got out of bed and came out to the balcony with me. I dropped the light line that I'd carried up with me. Marius fastened it to a coil of 3/4-inch manila, which I pulled up and looped over the railing of the balcony. Then I tied a French bowline on the end to make an improvised bosun's seat, and Adele stepped into it. I helped her over the edge of the railing, waved to Marius, and he began to lower the terrified girl to the rocks. As she disappeared from sight, I heard the door of the room open softly behind me. I turned as the Frenchman quietly entered and tiptoed over to the bed.
Adele.
Your pigeon's flown the coop,
What?
monsieur.
You- what?
You ought to thank me. This is the second time tonight I've kept you from committing murder.
Sale cochon d'Américain!
With this expression of disapproval, he went for me. I crouched, ready to flip him across the room with my best judo. But this Frenchman fought with his feet. It was I who flipped.
In just a moment, we will return for the concluding act of Suspense.
This is Jim Amici. Are you from Iowa? No one knows for certain, but it's thought that the name of the state of Iowa was derived from an Indian word that meant, "this is the place." To its almost 3 million inhabitants, Iowa is the place for a prosperous way of life that's based upon both farming and manufacturing. Iowa supplies 10% of the food of the United States. No state surpasses it in livestock income, value of marketed beef, and production of oats, corn, hogs, chickens, and eggs. Almost all of Iowa's land is devoted to farms. The richness of its soil can hardly be equaled. 1/4 of the best soil in the United States is found in the Hawkeye State. The industries of Iowa are growing rapidly, and now the value of the state's manufactured products even exceeds that of its rich agricultural products. Iowa is proud to be the state with the highest functional literacy rate in the United States. It's also proud to have been the birthplace of the first president who was born west of the Mississippi, Herbert Hoover. Iowa, the 29th state to enter the Union, has contributed much to the heritage of America. In the years ahead, Iowa will add much to America's future.
I was out. Not long, but long enough for him to get out on the balcony and take in Adele's improvised elevator. I shook my head groggily to see him hacking away at the rope with a pocket knife. I jumped him, yanked him away from the rope. He leaped to his feet and came at me with a knife, pushing me back against the railing. I fought off the knife hand, but it came closer and closer to my throat. And then he lost his balance, just a fraction, and just enough for me to use judo. And he flipped over the balcony and down to the rocks below. I clambered over the railing and went down the rope, hand over hand. Adele stood trembling, staring at the silent heat that was the Frenchman's body. Come on, Adele. We've got to get out of here.
It could have been me. It could have been me.
That's right. Give me a hand getting her aboard, Marius.
Too sweet.
Come along, Adele. Easy now. All right. There we are. Now you just lay back and rest.
Who's down there? What's going on down there?
Uh-oh, I was afraid she'd hear that scream. Fire her up, Marius.
Oui, mon capitaine.
Stop or I'll shoot.
All ahead, flank, Marius.
All ahead flank, mon capitaine.
No wonder she hired the Frenchman to do her killing for her. She can't shoot for sour apples. We got out beyond the 3-mile limit as fast as the Mockingbird would go, which is plenty. Then we headed east toward Monte Carlo. The lights of the Boulevard des Anglais twinkled like a jeweled necklace along the waterfront of Nice. But we were safe out here, in case Mrs. Dawson had alerted the Niçoise Harbor Patrol to intercept us. Villefranche slipped astern in the dark bulk of Cape Ferrat, and then the little town of Beaulieu. At last, we rounded Cape d'Aille, and there ahead rose the white facade of Monte Carlo, glittering with lights. And we slipped into the territorial waters of Monaco, safe from the French authorities.
Well, shall I drop the anchor, Steve?
We haven't got time. Tie up at the customs pier.
The customs?
Sure, we're not carrying contraband this time. You don't have to smuggle as pretty a girl as Adele into Monaco. We tied up at the customs dock under the astonished gaze of the guard who had emerged from his red and white striped sentry box.
Pardon, monsieur. You have a landing permit?
Not yet. We're in a hurry.
But it is required.
Yeah, I know. I'll be back. Meanwhile, you guard my boat, huh?
Monsieur.
You see, we're refugees from France.
Oh?
An affaire d'amour.
Oh, well, in that case, passez, monsieur. Passez.
We made our way to the terrace of the casino and stood outside, looking through the windows of the Salon Privé. It was crowded, as usual, with beautifully gowned women and men in evening dress, intent upon the roulette and baccarat and chemin de fer. Adele peered anxiously, trying to find her boy in the crowd.
So many people, I can't find him.
Well, then let's go in.
Like this? With your peacoat over my nightdress? And in bare feet?
Oh, start a new fashion.
Oh, Steve.
No, I mean it.
But my hair's such a mess.
Oh, well, in that case.
Oh, there he is.
Huh?
I see him.
Where?
Over there by the big roulette table. See, the tall blonde?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll go get him. Keep an eye on her, Marius.
Soyez tranquille, Steve. We did not bring her this far to let her get away, eh?
Voilà, monsieur. Faites bonjour, monsieur, dame.
17 Rouge, 00.
17 Rouge, 00. Voilà, monsieur. Faites bonjour, monsieur, dame. Rien va plus.
Your name, Trick Dawson?
Yeah, why?
Someone wants to see you outside on the terrace.
Oh, who?
Surprise.
What is this?
Come along.
Hey, wait a minute. I got a lot riding on 17 Red.
He's got a lot more riding out on the terrace. Adele.
What?
Come on.
17 Rouge. Monsieur. Monsieur Dawson. Vous avez...
Keep it. Hey, Adele.
Oh, Chuck. Chuck, I never thought I'd see you again.
Well, what is this? What's this all about?
Well, there'll be plenty of time for explanations later. The important thing is, do you want to marry this girl?
Of course I do.
Well, then I suggest you do it right away, and in Monte Carlo, where the authorities take a dim view of murdering mothers-in-law and kidnapping skippers.
Suspense.
You've been listening to Moonlight Sail, written for Suspense by William N. Robson. In a moment, the names of our players and a word about next week's story of Suspense.
You know, I was wondering how the famous Miles Standish and Priscilla courtship would have turned out if John Alden had had a face like a flat tire instead of being the handsome fellow he was. Probably old Hank Longfellow would not have written his poem. I guess this observation has only a vague connection with what I started to talk about, which is that being a representative is one of the big jobs of the State Department. For instance, the Secretary of State, through the Foreign Service, helps out the Justice and Treasury Departments in handling immigration, narcotic, and quarantine problems. And, of course, the Secretaries of Agriculture and Commerce look to the Secretary of State to help keep their fingers on the pulse of foreign markets so they can help the business firms and farmers of this nation keep informed on matters of import and exports. I guess the only connection between these facts and John Alden is that our State Department has to have an acceptable face plus a diplomatic way in order to keep other governments as close friends as possible.
Heard in tonight's story were Frank Thomas, Jr. as Steve, Louis Van Ruten as Jacques, Joan Laser as Adele, and Ethel Owen as Mrs. Dawson. Others included Jack Manning, Jim Bowles, Sam Raskin, and Guy Rep. And listen again next week when we return with 0 Hour, Ray Bradbury's chilling story of the day that children take over the world. Another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Suspense has come to you through the worldwide facilities of the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.